Do you ever feel like you and your partner are stuck in a roommate phase? A lot of couples do, and this is a bad place to be because it's just not living up to what your relationship should be. There's so many missed opportunities for love, for connection, for intimacy, for real bonding. If you're stuck in the roommate phase, you're not alone. It affects a ton of couples. And fortunately, there's some great ways to bust through it. I'm going to teach you those ways here today to get out of the roommate phase and back into a new honeymoon that's going to carry you away with some passion. I'm Adam Lane Smith, the attachment specialist, and today I'm going to be sharing some of these resources that are going to help. Those resources are available on adamlanesmith.com. They're also going to be available, some of them down in the link description below, and also sometimes I'm going to throw them up on screen when I point at them like this. And that will show you exactly what you need to do to fix those problems. I'm also going to be sharing practical steps that are going to get you engaged in your connection with your partner and get them more invested as well. So stay tuned. I'm going to describe the roommate phase and why it happens first, and the second half of this video, the fixes and how to make sure it doesn't happen again. So the roommate phase is a name that we have given to something that happens to couples who are together for quite a long time, and they get bogged down either in the day-to-day drudgery of life and forget to be partners, or they never had the real emotional intimacy that they should have had in the first place, and the stress of life wears down the fakery that they were playing with. Sometimes oxytocin bonding through love bombing or through saturation like that can wear off, but can also just be the wear and tear of daily life. Or having kids. Having kids can make it really hard on a couple to stay passionate and loving, and it feels like they are just going through the motions and doing a checklist, and they're coworkers or roommates, and the passion is gone. If that's you, again, you're not alone. This affects so many couples, and it looks like this. You can't remember the last time that you made love. And I don't just mean had sex, I mean made love. Full eye contact, laughing, enjoying it together. You can't remember the last time they walked up behind you in the kitchen and just gave you a good squeeze. You can't remember the last time you went out on a fun date together. You can't remember the last time it was their idea to take you out somewhere fun. It's always you pushing and begging and pleading until finally they give way and they say, okay, fine, we can go out. If you can't really remember the last time things were warm and caring and nurturing, or if you do remember and it's been a darn long time, or if it's only on special holidays where you guys actually embrace each other again as a couple, that's usually the roommate phase. This can come about, honestly, because of low oxytocin bonding, which really is a fancy way of saying you guys aren't doing the things that would remind you that you're a couple. Oxytocin is the love hormone that releases when you hold hands, you talk and share good conversation, you have good fun, good roll in the hay, you snuggle under a blanket together, you stay warm together in your hearts, and you spend that time together. Maybe groping, maybe making out, even the fun stuff that we forget to do if we're a married couple sometimes. That oxytocin bonding gets really low. And high cortisol, high stress levels and stuff like that from work can decrease your oxytocin bonding as well. If you're spending time together but you're not focused on it, you're thinking about your job or the laundry or the kids or whatever else is going on, that really cuts down on your ability to oxytocin bond with your partner as well. And if you're in bed together and you're just sitting there doing a laundry list in your head or a checklist for groceries or staring at the ceiling, or you guys are both checked out and just making a quickie of it, that is not good oxytocin bonding either. If that's what's happening, that can really just cycle you back into the roommate phase, because now you're trying to spend time together and your brain says even spending time together doesn't work. It's not even getting better. That can lead into a cycle of despair that makes it harder for the two of you to connect and really bond as you're doing those things. So what you need to do is reorient your brain back to building that connection on purpose. This is going to take some intentional, purposeful connection and bonding that's going to have to happen. I'll talk about that here in a minute. But another factor you need to consider is your attachment style. Are you not just not fully connecting, but is there something keeping you apart? Sometimes avoidant attachment style can rear its head later on in the relationship, a year or 2 or 3 or 4 into the relationship, especially when stress gets high. Avoidant attachment can make that worse because they pull away and try to solve problems on their own. They go into a bunker in their head and they just try to solve the problems. Anxious attachment, on the other hand, can sometimes create this roommate phase because anxious attachment starts out chasing approval and connection and oxytocin overwhelmingly, and then does 10 nice things for the other person, expecting nice things in return. But they never let the other person know what those nice things are. So it's a secret. So over time, the anxious person can build up a lot of resentment that pushes back on their partner and prevents that bonding. If either one of those is something that you're going through, that could mean that you need to fix your attachment together to build that connection. There's also a special hormone called vasopressin, which is solving problems together. That's where that comes from. Solving challenges and proving to yourselves that you are still a darn good team. and that you make things happen together. Most couples who go into the roommate phase are usually lacking vasopressin and oxytocin, and they don't know how to get those things. And often, sometimes one of you has an attachment issue as well. And that has led to this downward spiral. And unfortunately, once you get into the downward spiral, it's too easy to just keep going into it. And it's hard to pull out of it, because if you knew how to pull out of it as a couple, you probably wouldn't have gotten to the spiral in the first place. Now, when it comes to fixing this, part of that is determined about what factors went into creating it. So making it so that you guys are oxytocin bonding more. Again, more intentional contact. Sometimes that means setting an exact timer on your phones and building a schedule of we will be together at certain times of the night. For some partners and some married couples, that means putting the kids down and having your own time from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock minimum to have 1 hour to spend together. You can sit together under a blanket and talk. You can hold hands. You can just make out like teenagers might. You can get a little different than you normally would, and get fun with it. Like, go fun places, make out in your car, go have a fun movie and sit and hold hands through the movie together. Share a bucket of popcorn instead of having your individuals holding off like this together. Share, a cheesecake. Sit together and share one cheesecake off one plate, 2 different forks probably. Well, maybe 2, maybe 1 fork, who knows? But share that moment together and start intentionally having that time together. You need to be having more non-sexual physical touch during the day. So if you see your partner in the kitchen, walk up behind him, give him a hug, maybe give him a squeeze or a grope, test him like a ripe melon at the marketplace. Sometimes it's okay to do that. In fact, it's encouraged in good relationships. Spend more time kissing. Maybe you don't have to wait for the kids to be out of the room before you will kiss each other on the mouth. Maybe you just give each other a good kiss on the mouth. And you don't have to bend the other person over the sink kind of kiss, but give more physical affection. And if you have kids, it's good for them to see you give some physical affection to each other too. What about hugs? When was the last time you hugged your partner and held on for more than 3 seconds? When was the last time you did more than a side hug on your partner, or the very distant, hover hand hug? When was the last time you actually fully embraced? When was that? And if you're looking for more bedroom passion, when was the last time you actually did a massage on each other? When was the last time you had one of you lay down with no clothes on, or both of you, and rub out the other person's back? Take turns doing that and make yourselves take the time, not 2 minutes of a back massage and then 2 minutes in heaven and then you're done. Let's do more than 4 minutes, you guys. They make incredible amounts of body oil and smells and everything that you guys could really get into. Just put down a towel first so you don't get the oil all over the bed, but that's maybe that's up to personal option. You could always roll in the oil later. Spend time rubbing each other out on the back, on the shoulders, on the lower back, right? The neck. Rub out those shoulders. That actually releases a lot of oxytocin and stress, and it's a great way to care for your partner and get you out of the roommate phase. I don't know how many roommates out there are giving each other naked oil massages, so if you want to break out of the roommate phase, do stuff a roommate would never do. Foreplay, by the way, all the massages, the hugs, the kisses, the gropes throughout the day, those really build a flow of oxytocin through the course of your day. And then you get to the massage, that really builds oxytocin. Then you should get into foreplay. Foreplay, kissing, holding, rubbing, touching, licking, all the fun stuff that is not full-on genital contact. Everything that is not genital contact should be considered foreplay. Consider it that way. And this is so important for your relationship, for both of you. Both of you will be building oxytocin. So many couples skip that part, and then the woman and the man have problems performing in bed. Well, yeah, because you have very low oxytocin going into the experience. Build that up, build the passion, build the hormones, build everything that needs to be there, and it's going to be a fun and more easy experience for both of you. Now, you might need to schedule times of the week that you are going to have mandatory sex night. This sounds ridiculous to most couples, but when I was a marriage therapist and now as a marriage coach, I make my couples schedule in their sex nights for mandatory, obligatory sex that you don't get to say no to unless there's a serious problem. But you don't get to say, I'm kind of tired. I'd rather just watch Netflix. No, it's, okay, well, we better do this. So you spend the time throughout the day building up for it because you know it's coming. Then you have a massage, you rub each other out, then you do foreplay on purpose. By the time you get to the sex, you are really into it because you've built it up throughout that day and especially over the foreplay and all of that fun. It is not about, all right, mandatory time, undo your pants, we're going to get this over with. Quickies are okay once in a while, but your life should not be built on quickies. If your love life is that way, you're just banging one out really quick, and that's not actually engaging as a couple. Spend the time to make your bedroom experience a unitive experience that bonds you more through having that connection together. Every time you have sex, it should bond you more as a couple. And again, very few roommates are having sex and still staying purely roommates. You want to get out of the roommate phase, do stuff throughout the day and in the bedroom that a roommate would not do. Now, if you are having attachment issues in your relationship, either one of you or both of you, that is something you're going to need to fix. You're going to have to take care of that. And I've got a number of resources that can help you do this. Roommates, for example, would probably not take my attachment bootcamp video course together to learn how to share their needs, how to build better conflict resolution, and how to communicate measurable desires to their partner so that the bedroom experience is even better. Now, you can find my attachment bootcamp course by clicking right here. This will take you right there, and you can watch that together as a couple, learn those skills, and bond together more intimately for the long term so you can bust out of that roommate phase with a sledgehammer. If you're looking for more tips on in or out of the bedroom, you can schedule a coaching session with me, and I'd be happy to work with you on that. I have all kinds of couples come in, especially where there's been trauma and they need specific help building in new patterns and new behaviors that are going to embrace their needs without spiking any of those traumas. So click down into the description below. You'll find a link to my coaching sessions down there. Take care of that. Let's schedule a session and build into your relationship exactly how we are going to get you out of the roommate phase. I can help. The point is, if attachment is keeping you apart, fixing your attachment can be an oxytocin and vasopressin bonding experience that gets you having the conversations that you have been avoiding and have stopped you from connecting with your partner. It's not just about getting things out of the way, it's about giving the positives so that your relationship is boosted, improved, and grows over time. That's the goal here. So take stock. What things are you doing in your relationship so far that a roommate wouldn't do? What things is your partner doing that a roommate wouldn't do? If the answer is, well, no, we do functionally live as roommates, you need to build that in on purpose. Most couples shy away from this because it's going to feel a little mandatory, a little transactional, a little mechanical at first. It's going to feel a little weird, like, all right, we have to schedule sex. All right, we have to schedule 10 minutes for foreplay. We are not allowed to insert anything anywhere for the first 10 minutes. All right, well, fine. Like, making yourselves do that and practice those good habits, very important. And again, if you need professional help with that, schedule a session. I will show you professionally how to build out a better daily foreplay system that gets you to the bedroom hot so that you're ready to go. And if you can have that every day, it's going to be easier to hit those 5 or 6 mandatory sex nights that you guys are going to schedule. Now I want to hear from you. Down in the comments section below, drop me a comment that tells me if you're in the roommate phase, and if so, what's something that you could do to bust out of it that a roommate wouldn't do? I want to hear from you. Let me know and tell me, Adam, this is something a roommate wouldn't know that means a lot to me. Because there's special things. It doesn't have to be passionate stuff. It can be fun stuff. It can be engaged, connected stuff, emotional stuff, and conversations that you've been wanting to have. Drop that down in the comments, and if it is the bedroom stuff, that's all good too. I appreciate hearing that from you guys. While you're there, if you would like and subscribe onto this channel, I would love that. It would help boost my channel so I can bring you more tips just like this one. Now, when it gets time to the bedroom, click this video right here and watch it. It's going to say how to have better sex according to an attachment specialist. I've given some of my best top 5 tips in that video to help you have better sex as a couple so that you're enjoying it rather than just going through the motions. I will see you in that next video.